So, good morning, student. So today we discuss about the function calling in C++. So how function we have to call and how we will perform a operation. Okay. So by calling the functions, because we know that in object-oriented system, so whenever we call or whenever we perform any operation on any task. So we have to generate a one function, and inside that we have to write a logic for that specific task or for that specific function. And then after calling that function with the help of object, we can perform that specific task. So for same scenario, we go for one program. Okay. So in that we are going to calculate the profit and the total price of the product. Scenario is like that. I just share a screen. You first understand the scenario of program which we have to design, so that it will help you to understand the program. So uh, exactly, we have a product. So we know every product have two things. One is the unit cost price. So we can say it's a UCP. Another one is the unit cost price, and another one is the unit selling price. So let's say it's USP. Uh, One more thing we have related to product, that is the quantity. So these three things we have. One is the unit cost price, another one is the unit selling price, and the another one is the quantity. So first we have to calculate the value of the product. What is the value of the product? So value of the product, that means product of quantity, how much quantity you purchase, into unit cost price, at what cost you have to purchase. Let's say I purchase a 5 pen, the price of 10 rupees. So the total price or value of the product is that 50 rupees. Okay. So what is the total value? When we have to calculate, we have to multiply the quantity with the unit cost price. Second one, when you have to calculate the profit, so total profit is equal to quantity into, have to just subtract unit cost price from unit selling price. No, we have to subtract unit cost price from the unit selling price. So at what rate I sell that specific product, so I have to subtract the at was what price I have purchased it. That means, for example, a single item, let's consider pen, I brought with rupees 10 and I sell it, okay, with rupees 20. So cost price is 10 and selling price is 20. So the profit is 10 rupees, 20 minus 10. And if I have to calculate the total profit, then you need, so 5 multiplied that total quantity into that. For example, let's say Consider one example. It's a total 5 pen we have. So here quantity is equal to 5, unit cost price is equal to 10, and unit selling price is equal to 20. So value of product in this case, what is the value of product? Value of product equal to 5 into 10, that is equal to 15. Okay, and if I have to calculate the total profit equal to quantity is what? 5 into selling price minus cross price. So 20 minus 10, that is 10 multiplied by 5, that is 50. So these things we have to calculate. Okay, so calculate all these things one by one. Hmm. So very first thing, as it's C++ program, so we include two file hash include. One is iostream.h, another one is hash include sconio.h. Now we create one class of the name product. So in this, pick first the name of product. So let's say care name 20, because name is there of character. One more field we have to add, manufacturing name, means brand name of that specific product. So let's say name, manufacturing name, then it's 20. Then number of quantity of the product, so definitely it is in integer type, so in quantity. And then we have to calculate the cost price and selling price, so it's USP and UCP. So UCP is unit cost price and USP is unit selling price. So public, very first thing we have to take input all these things from user. So void read. Now one by one we take the input all the parameters from the user. So see out. So here we require enter name, manufacturer name, then what required quantity, then unit cost price and unit selling price of product. These all things we required from the user, so we have to receive it. Now we see in operator. So very first thing we required name, then manufacturing name, then quantity, then unit cost price, and then unit selling price. This all parameter we required from the user side. So we take it one by one. Name, manufacturing name, quantity, unit cost price, and unit selling price. Now, when there is a time to print all this basic info, so generally for type we use one function again. So void write. Now we have to print all this info so that user can understand the information of the product. So cout, first thing we go add name, then name, cout manufacturing name. So it's m name. For next line we have to print backslash n so that the next output will be on the next line. And cout manufacturing name is there, then number of quantity, then unit cost price, then unit selling price. So these are the basic info of related to product we are going to print here by using right function. So name, manufacturing name, quantity, unit cost price, and unit selling price. So these all are parameters we are printed over here. Now the main part which we have to here write, that is what we have to calculate the total value of that product and profit of that product. So we calculate one function of name, say void calculate. Okay. Now the same program we can type in two ways. In both way I can show you. So void calculate. Now value may be a float. Now so float if e underscore value, that's equal to what, the product of value and quantity. So now quantity QTY is the total quantity into unit cost price. So that is UCP. And then we have to print this. So Cout is there. First we calculate the total profit also. So float ERF profit equal to quantity into unit selling price minus unit cost price. So USP must be greater than UCP. So these two things we have read to print over here. So Cout. So total value ST underscore value. Second, you need to print Cout total profit here. So here the class will be over. Okay. So class product what we are write here, it will be over now. We define two functions. One is read, one is write, and another one is calculate. Now we are going to execute all these function one by one. So very first thing to execute, we need to create the object of the function. And how we create the object, so it's simple. Product is capital. P1 dot read, P1 dot write, P1 dot calculate. Get C. So these are the three functions: read, write, calculate, and get ch. So we are going to print all these things. Okay. Same way you can call the all functions by using object 2. Third method is that you can create an array of object of 5 or 10 size, so you can print the information of all the items 5 times or 10 times. So first we check output. Okay. So the logic is simple. We are just create one calculate function, and then we can going to print the on this parameter. Here are the message name. That's the name of the product is pen. Manufacturer name, it's a Renault. Quantity, it's a 25. Unit cost price, say 10 rupees. Unit selling price, say 20 rupees. Okay, so all information we are given. So name is pen, manufacturing name is Renault, number of quantities 25, unit cost price is 10, unit selling price is 20. So total value, that means the number of quantity, that is 25, and cost price is 10, so 250 rupees, and profit, so you get a profit of 250 rupees. Okay, if you want a space in between output and this, so you can use one operator here, just like you can enter this type of space here. It will show some space between your exact output and the labeling. So likewise here. Slogan name, say watch. Manufacturer name, say Sero. Quantity, say 5. Unit cost price, say 500. Selling price, say 10,000. So this is the overall information. Okay, so in this way we can call the object, and we can call the function, and we can perform a task. Now in the same program, or what we have to do now, everything we are print inside the class. Okay, in calculate we all the function use and calculate over here. But now I just want to print this value and profit in the class function. Okay, so what actually I have to do, I have to do one function for the return value, or for to calculate the total value, and one function for calculate the profit, and that function will call, and according to calling of that function I will get the desired output inside this main. Okay, so what I do, I just remove this class. Okay, Now here I create one class float return value, return value, and here we create one variable float v, and this is v is nothing but what quantity, that is qty. Okay, quantity into unit cost price, UCP, and then this value will be returned to the main. So return v. Likewise, we have to calculate the profit. So let's say float RET here we have return profit. The type is there, function name is there, no parameter because we have to just call the function and to print that specific output inside the main. So float p equal to quantity into unit selling price minus unit cost price. Now when p1 call the function RET value, so it will get the value total return value. What is the total price of that function? So RET value. Okay. Now one variable we require to declare here to receive this, so float p underscore value. Okay, because if the function's return value, so one variable we required to store that value. Okay, and same way for the profit, you required one uh, variable float p equal to p1 dot ret prof. So you just take the look of this. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Hello. So we calculate the profit, RET profit. So P1 dot RET prof is here. Okay, so when we print this C out, total value of product, so it is in T underscore value. And when we require to print the total profit, so total profit equal to P underscore backslash N. So in this way, we have to calculate the total value of product and the total profit, and uh, we have to print it on the screen. The difference between the previous program and in this program, that in the previous program we print all the parameters on class, but in this program we print the values in the main function by calling that specific function. Okay, so in this way, the same program you can write in the second pattern also. The important is that how we call the function and how we'll get the values. Uh, okay, by calling the respective function. So it's important to observe in both the program. So we just check it when we run. So again name. So let's obtain manufacturing name. So cello quantity say 10, unit cost price say 20, and unit selling price say 40. Depending on that, we get the output and it calculate the total value and the total profit of the product. So same way in previous program also we got the same type of output, but the writing fashion of both the programs are different. In previous program we are print all the output in the class itself, but in this program we are going to print the output in the main program. Now third type in the same program, or the third type of the program, that now we want to print all the values. Okay, we require to print all the values in the main, and also we calculate the all the calculation. That means we calculate total value of the product and total profit of the product inside the main. Okay, so what are the parameters we required for calculation? So we have to observe it first. So the first parameter which we required is the quantity. Second parameter which we required is the unit cost price, and third parameter we required is the unit selling price. So these three parameters we required to calculate the total values and to calculate the total profit. So definitely these three parameters we required in the main function, and then and only then we can apply the logic and we can calculate all these things. So we going for that. Now I just now this is the third type of to write the same program. Okay, already we observe the two types. Now in third type, first you required the quantity, and quantity is int. So I create one function. That function will return the quantity. Okay, if I call that function, so that function will return the quantity. So ret qty, it's type of int, so return type is int, and it will return quantity. Now unit cost price and unit selling price, these are the parameters. So float RET UCP. It will return unit cost price. So UCP is there, unit selling price. So float RET USP. So return unit selling price USP. Okay. So these are the parameters which we required for the calculation. One is the quantity, another one is the unit cost price, and the next one is the unit selling price. Okay. So we create a three functions which when call will give you these three types of value. Now to calculate the total value, we required what quantity into unit cost price. So if you want a quantity, so we call that function. So the name of that function is I think RETQTY. Na? So here RETQTY. Okay, and then we have to multiply to it by P1 dot quantity को हम किससे multiply करते हैं? We have to multiply it with the unit cost price. So RET UCP. Okay. So one is the quantity and we multiply it by the unit cost price. So you will get a total value. So to calculate the profit, the function is what we require quantity. So how we will get quantity? By calling that respective function. So that function is RET QTY. Okay. So that quantity will multiplied by unit selling price minus unit cost price. So selling price is what? P1 dot RET USP. Okay. Minus cost price. How we will get cost price? RET UCP. So P1 dot RET UCP. Okay. So one is the return quantity, then unit selling price minus unit cost price. So when we minus the cost price from the selling price, so we will get the profit. Okay. Now other parameters are same. We have to print this. So in this third type of the program, what exactly we are going to achieve? That all the calculation we are done in the main. Okay, and to return that value in the main function, we required to make a function. When call that function, we will get the respective values. So likewise we create that type of functions. So then save. So when we compile, when we run, so again same. Okay, output name watch, say fast track is the brand name, quantity say 5, cost price say 1000, selling price say 1500. Okay, and we will get the output likewise. So in this way, this is the third type in which we are going to calculate and print the output in the main function. So yeah, these are the important ones. So just take logic, okay, before going towards the next program. Okay, there are some basic in which we call the functions by using object. Similar type of program we can write for the calculate the student is pass or fail depending on the marks. So if we have this student name, roll number with three parameters like m1, m2, m3. Okay, marks of subject 1, marks of subject 2, and marks of subject 3, and then you have to check whether the student is pass or fail. So how we can write that specific program? Now the thing is important is that you have to calculate all the calculation in the main. Okay, you know, not to be done in the class. So for the same, first we include two files. Hash include iostream.h and hash include coneo.h. Okay. Now class student, and private part, there are three parameters. So one is the name, so char as usual. We define the read function for name and roll number. Name, okay, and roll number is r underscore no. Okay, I required the marks of three subjects. So see out enter marks of three subjects. And three. See out name. So in name parameter, you can see out roll number. So it is in the variable r underscore no and backslash n. Okay. For the next line character, so that output will be more clear way. also we discuss, so there is some difference between, there is difference in field and exact roll number, or in field and the parameters which you are going to print. Now if you require to check whether student is pass or fail, so you require function which when call it will return the mark. But as we know, the function can return only one value at a time, so we have to calculate the three different functions. So for item for return one, same we have to write for M2 and M3, because at a time we cannot return all the three values, so we have to write it in different way. Okay, so now the functions are ready. Now we have to call and just check whether student is pass or fail. So call this all functions we require object, and we have to create object in the main function. So void main, class name is student, s1 is the object, so CLR is here. Now you have to read and write all these two function. One is to receive this parameter and then print, and after that we have to calculate it. So now we have to call read function and then write function. Now we have to check whether it is pass or fail. So we have to write the logic if and else. If s1 dot, if the passing criteria is 40, if student got more than or equal to 40, then he is passed. So s1 dot rtm1 greater than equal to 40, and s1 dot retm2 greater than equal to 40, and s1 dot retm3 greater than equal to 40. When we get all these functions, so the m1, m2, m3 respective of object s1 will be there, and it will check whether it is greater than 40 or not. If I write s2 dot retm1, s2 dot retm2, then m1, m2, m3 of object s2 will be there. Okay, and it will check whether it is greater than or equal to 40. So if this condition is true, so we have to just print a message that congrats your class. But if this condition is not true, at that time the student will fail and have to enter in the else statement. So in else you have to just print a message out. You are failed. Okay, so this is the main where we have to print the message. Now all the calculation we are done in the main program. Okay, it's important where we call the function and in which way we are writing that. Okay, so we just check for output. So here statement missing. So here we have to enter one semicolon. No error. Just we have to enter name and roll number. Say Rahul, roll number is 40, and marks of 3 subjects, so 45, 67, and 78. So we get a message that you are passed because the condition is satisfied. The important thing is that we have writing this logic in the main, not on the class. So we just call the respective functions and we can perform the operation in the main program. Okay. So it's important thing that if we have to access any data member which are in the private part of the class and we have to use it in the main. So in public we have to write a function to accessing the member functions or the data member. So public part is only for to write a function. So from that function you can access all the data members which are present in the private part of the class. Okay. And only the object of this same class, only the object of this same class, that is the object S1, who is the class of student, can access that function, and that function can access that data member. So you have to maintain that hierarchy, object access function access the data. Okay. So in this way we can write a functions. Okay, and we can perform a given task in the program. So it's enough for today. So we will continue in afternoon session. Okay. So thank you.